Hello and welcome to my video. Now, as you can tell by the title, I am going to the Royal College of Music. I will be joining in September of this year, 2018, and I will be studying the Bachelor of Music course with honours as a soprano singer. It's a 4-year undergraduate course and I am so ridiculously excited to start and I'm counting down the days. I can't wait. Okay. The reason why I'm making this video is for all of you out there who are either looking at auditioning or will be auditioning for the Royal College, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of an insight into my experience and hopefully give you a little bit of info as to how to get a place at the Royal College. When I was going to audition, I was always looking on YouTube or on Google for some information about what it's like to audition because there was only a limited amount, but I did find one video that I absolutely loved and watched all the time to just give myself a little bit of a leg up. So a little bit of a shout out to Davidona. Her video and her channel is linked below. I don't know if she's even going to watch this, but it's just something else for you guys to watch if you are going into auditioning. Hers, I think, is for a master's programme. Mine is about the undergraduate programme. So maybe you can get a little bit of information from both. So if you want to know what it's like to audition for the Royal College, and if you want a little bit more information, then keep watching. So I auditioned twice. Once in 2016 and once in 2017. Now, the reason why I auditioned twice is because the first time I got turned away. Not all bad though, because I went back the second year and got in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a little bit about my first audition, because I feel like I was the most vulnerable and the most naive then, and then tell you about why I didn't get in and what I did the second time round that changed things for me. So on the lead up to the day, there was a lot of things to think about. You had what songs you were going to sing, how you were going to prep them, you know, what you're going to do when you get there, what you're going to wear, things like that. Now, I did 3 songs. I did an Italian one, which was an operatic aria. I did a sacred one that was in Latin, and then I did an English sacred song as well. In the lead up, I didn't have my teacher. I didn't really get a chance to work with anyone because my teacher wasn't around, and I kind of did it myself, had to wing it. I just realised I need to stop looking at my screen and I need to start looking at the camera. Oh, the joys of filming on your phone because you don't have anything else to film on. But I had my 3 songs. I looked online at what the entry requirements were, and it was things like you got to have an opera song, you've got to have this, you've got to have that, but basically I kind of winged it. Now my 3 songs were ready to go, I had my audition date, and I was ready to audition. I have this awful thing though, where in winter, at around November, December, which is when the auditions are, I get a very bad cold. I think it's to do with the change of temperatures between the months. I don't know, I'm not a doctor, I'm a singer. But it just so happened that on the day of my audition, I was very, very, very unwell. But I went along anyways and kind of filled myself up with vocal zones, lozenges, boiled sweets, and hot drinks, and just kept myself well hydrated and just kind of hoped for the best. Now, the day of the audition was here, and I got on the train and went along with my mum, and I wanted to make sure I was there with plenty of time to spare. Even if we were waiting around for 3 hours, we could have a look around the college. That was my idea. So we got there nice and early and we were greeted by the big steps of the Royal College of Music, and then you walk inside and you have the small little atrium space, and at this point I was very, very scared. I was like a rabbit in the headlights. I didn't know what to do and just kind of walked in, and there was a little desk with some people from, I think, admissions there, and they just ask you what your name is and kind of tick you in and then give you a little slip with your audition time and your audition room and some little information booklets for you to read about the school and about sort of funding and all that sort of stuff. So after that, we were kind of briefed on what we needed to do, where we needed to go, but we had loads of time. So we decided to go down to the cafe. Now in the cafe, we just went down, had a cup of tea, kind of calmed myself down, went over my music, and then went off to the waiting room for the auditions. The waiting room that I went in was literally a cloakroom. And I was kind of worried that we were in the wrong place. I didn't know what we were doing. I thought, okay, we're in a cloakroom. But I tell you what, I was kind of glad we were in a cloakroom because it was so chilled out. It was so relaxed. It wasn't like you were in a doctor's waiting room waiting to go in and get your, teeth drilled. Does a doctor do that? I think a dentist does that, Maddie. Well done. But in the room, there was other auditionees, a load of people just like me who had music in their hands, were very quietly going over their words, and a couple of senior students who were watching over everyone and kind of taking them in again. Now I went in there still very nervous, still very unwell, and just kind of sat and looked over my music and tried to chill myself out just like everyone else was doing. A couple of people were chatting, I kind of overheard conversations and everything like that, but I was really in the zone and I wanted to get this right. Now before your audition, you get allotted a short rehearsal time with the pianist or the accompanist. You are given about 15 minutes, not very long, so you kind of need to think about what you want to do in such a short amount of time. You won't necessarily have time to run all of the songs, might just top and tail it, look at bits you're not sure about, or the accompanist might say, can we look at this bit here, if they know the song, or if they don't, they might want to run it all the way through. I was actually really worried about the accompanist. I thought, these are pieces they're looking up for the first time, and they're going to be sight reading and they might not know what speed I need, or they might not know where I pull back on the speed or where I speed up. I don't know what to think. Don't worry, because the accompanists are amazing. They are so good and they will do everything right, and if they don't get it right, they will cover it very well. These are either professionals or close to professionals. They know what they're doing, trust me. But the rehearsal period was done as quick as it was started, and it was time to go in. Now I was taken to this little room right at the bottom, and was waiting outside having a chat with the accompanist, and then it was time to go in, and it was just in a small little studio, and there was 2 people watching at a desk, and then a piano on the other side of the room, and you just go and stand by the piano and you sing your songs. Now my songs went okay, I was quite proud. My cold didn't get in the way too much. Afterwards, I was surprised by a lovely little thing called sight reading. I actually did not know I was going to get a sight singing test, and so I was kind of a little bit taken aback by it and was shaken up by it, to say the least. I don't know if that still happens now, but I was given a sight reading test and was very, very scared. Now, when they gave it to me, they were very nice and just said, oh, could you tell me what the key is? And I did the stupid thing of looking at the key signature but not looking at the actual exercise, and there was nice little raised sevenths. So I said it was a major key, and they said, have you looked at the raised sevenths? And I looked at the raised sevenths and I said, yeah. And they said, what does that mean? My mind went blank. Fun fact, if there's a raised seventh, or a sharpened seventh, it's a minor key, most probably. And I was stuck on the fact that it was a major key, and so they had to correct me, and I kind of went along like that, and I thought I'd fluffed it. But at the end, they called me over and had a little chat, and they just asked me about, how I'm getting on, what I did to prep, why I chose the songs, and what I want to do after college. Just very simple questions about what I want to do and why, just to see, how much I really want it. And I wanted it a lot, so I kind of got a little bit too excited and started making ridiculously awful jokes, and yeah, it wasn't pretty. But after the interview, they said, thank you very much. Would you mind going to wait outside whilst we have a little bit of a deliberating session? And I said, yeah, of course. Went and stood outside, and what was probably maybe about 2 minutes felt like about 45. It was the most ridiculous wait of my life. I was so nervous and so just anxious to know what I'd got. But in the back of my head, I had this thought that, you know, it was time to go home. I wasn't going to be accepted this year, it just wasn't for me. It was the Royal College of Music at the end of the day, and my head was just going, why would they let a girl like me in? I'm not good enough. I was just here to just have a little bit of a sing-song at the Royal College and see what it was like. It was a lot of fun, but I'm ready to go get some fish and chips now. We are in London at the end of the day. So I talked myself all up into thinking that I was going home and that was it for me. And then I went in and, you know, I did a very awkward thing of complimenting the ladies' shoes whilst we were like smushed up against each other in the door frame. I just went in and stood there and they looked at me and they said, "So, really well done, we would like you to be heard by the second panel." My reaction was something along the lines of this. What? I was completely shocked, completely taken aback, and did not know what was going on. But they were briefing me on what to do, on what to expect, on where to go next, on what was going to happen. And I was very, very happy. And I just said, "Thank you so, so much. Thank you, thank you." And I went back to the room. And I remember I went in and I was so in shock that I just went in and started crying. I said to my mum, "I'm through to the next round." And she was as excited as I was, and everyone in the room seemed to be quite excited, and it was a really great atmosphere to be in. But now I had a bit of waiting time, so again, I went down to the cafe, had another cup of tea, because British. Then when it was time to go, I went up to where I needed to go. Now my second round of auditions was in the recital hall, I think. I'm fairly sure it was the recital hall. Now there was a little waiting room outside that me and a couple of other auditionees waited in, and you know, people were going in and out and chatting and everything, and I was very, very nervous. But there was some really friendly people in there, some really friendly students from the college, and they answered a bunch of questions and we learned a lot from them, and you know, we found out what it was like at the college and what their experience was and how they got in and all of that sort of stuff. But that was really, really good, and so if you guys are watching this, thanks. But the time had come and it was time to go in to have a little rehearsal and then go into my second round of auditions. Rehearsal again was great. As I said before, the accompanists are absolutely wonderful. But I went into the recital hall, and the recital hall was considerably larger than the first little studio that I was in. And so I was at one end and the audition panel were at the other end. And that was a big space to fill. So obviously my first thought was, let's sing loud and sing clear and give them everything you got, Mads. So that's what I did. I sang my 3 songs and, you know, really kind of showed them everything I had, and he said, "Well done, thank you very much," and then invited me over for an interview. So I had a little interview, and on the panel there was, if I remember rightly, about 5 people, 5 or 6, much more than the 2 people I had before. Now in the interview they asked me similar questions to the first round. It was things like, why do you want to come to this college? What makes you a good student? Why should we choose you? What do you want to do afterwards? All of that audition panel was so, so lovely, and it was really great to talk to them. They were so willing to listen to me and willing to, you know, learn about what I'm doing, and just a really friendly bunch. And I was really, you know, comfortable talking to them as well, which is always really good. Now they said, "Well done, thank you," and off I went and said thank you to everyone, and was, you know, really kind of overwhelmed by everything going on. And then I went home. So then I was left to wait. Now, as I told you before, I didn't get in that year. They didn't think I was right for the school at that time, and I didn't take that as a, well, that's me done. I took that as, they've listened to me once now, let's see if we can put that work in, make myself better, make myself the ideal candidate for them next year. But that was my experience auditioning at the Royal College of Music, and maybe you guys can learn a little bit in the next video. So I hope that has been helpful to you. I hope I've covered all the bases, but if there is anything that I haven't mentioned in this video that you want to know about, please leave your questions in the comments below and I will answer them to the best of my ability. If there is another video that you guys want to see, then please let me know and I will try and make that for you. I'm going to hopefully make a video at the start of the year just to let you know what it's like in the accommodation and what the first week is like, but as I'm sure you guys know, it's pretty hectic on the first couple of weeks of a new course. So I will try my best. But if there's any more videos that you want to see, then please let me know and I will try and get those to you soon. Okie dokes. See ya. Bye.